finally, we shall now go and end things off with AniMat's Pick of the Week. And so, for this week, I decided that I'm gonna go and talk about a story that's been heavily requested to me. Well, maybe not necessarily requested. I've had a lot of people who recently asked me regarding my thoughts on this current situation. This may not be related to animation, but it is definitely related to something that I am a part of, which is online reviewing. And apparently, one of the founding fathers of internet reviewing is currently in massive controversy. In fact, this is the biggest controversy that it has been a part of. There's been a few dramas here and there related to it, but nothing that has been as prominent and mainstream as this. So, if I may put on my little saber sparks for the moment, we are going to be diving deep into mismanagement, drama, corruption, and also a whole bunch of internet reviewers. This will be about what ruined Channel Awesome. Yes, what I will be talking about now will be about what could possibly be the biggest internet news that is going on this week about Channel Awesome and the Change the Channel movement, or more specifically, the hashtag Change the Channel movement. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get things started to give you a little bit of context of what's pretty much been going on. Now, this all started in the middle of March, where you got some former contributors to the website, including Allison Pregler, aka Obscurus Lupa, Kaylin Saucedo, aka Mars Girl, Holly Brown, who used to be an admin at Channel Awesome, and many more. They decided to go on Twitter and discuss publicly about the wrongdoings that they have experienced at Channel Awesome. Something just brought up, and they decided to go diving deep into the discussion from there. And it really went on to become its own big thing. Like, the discussion really escalated to the point where they decided to go and start a movement called hashtag Change the Channel, where now they're going to be a lot more public about the wrongdoings that Channel Awesome has done to them. Like, all the history that has occurred, like the mismanagement, and how things really got screwed up during the anniversary videos, and all that kind of stuff. Now, for the longest time, for many weeks, Channel Awesome has remained silent about it, like they didn't want to discuss it or whatever. It wasn't until this week, however, when they actually released what is pretty much infamous right now, a Google Doc containing 69 pages of all the bad things that Channel Awesome has done in terms of their business practices and the experience that all the former contributors have went through, which almost 20 of them have contributed to this, where they would share their stories about really bad events that happened while they're staying at, or during their stay at Channel Awesome. And ever since that document was released, the information regarding the mismanagement of Channel Awesome really got trending all over the internet and on social media, where it really exploded, and it shed Channel Awesome in general in such a negative light, where they have not handled drama of this proportion before. Like I said before, they have went through a whole bunch of drama, but nothing quite like this. And to go specifically onto what the document pretty much said, now I'm not going to be reading it to you live right here in the animation podcast about every single thing that is in this 69-page document. There are YouTube videos out there where you got people reading through the whole thing and reacting to it at the same time, and those videos would last for like 5 to 7 hours, no joke. So, I have read through it, and yeah, like a lot of the things that they said in there, it is shocking, and you do see a lot of the patterns of what the problem of the contributors is in there. However, what is actually very nice of them is that they have also released a condensed version, releasing 11 points about the problems that is in Channel Awesome. And so, what I am going to do for you guys to pretty much summarize the 69-page Google Doc known as Not So Awesome, I decided I'm going to go and read you here these 11 points, and I will show it to you in the form of the top 11 horrible things done at Channel Awesome. So with all that said, let us begin at number 11. There has been a pervasive feeling amongst long-term producers that they are no longer valued or appreciated, and that Channel Awesome cares only for their in-house development. This has been exacerbated by Channel Awesome simply purging the site of any producer that asked to leave without announcement, where before there was a heartfelt post or even goodbye videos. Now, this one is an example that really did show that Channel Awesome truly has changed at the time, and I will bring this up a little bit later, the fact that as time would move on and how the internet would change and the landscape of it, ever since Blip passed away, Channel Awesome immediately went to shift their focus onto from the website to their YouTube channel, and it really does show that they care a lot more about that, considering that with their website, you could tell that from there the traffic has been going down, and considering that they're showing less care in there, they would also show less care about the people that are contributing onto that website. So in that mindset, I do understand where Channel Awesome is going, but I do understand also from the perspective of the former contributors where they feel like they're just left in the dust. Now, let's move on to number 10 right over here. Management has a contentious relationship with producers who try to increase their revenue via internet ads or starting up a Patreon. The former was viewed as encouraging ad block, and the latter was viewed as e-begging. Now, you will see eventually, I will bring this up a little bit later in one of the points, that this is a little bit hypocritical considering that they did open up an entire freaking Indiegogo campaign doing exactly that, which some people can view it as e-begging in a way. And the way that Indiegogo campaign went, well, that's a whole other story. I will bring it up later. But yeah, this really does suck how they're not allowed to actually do that, to not go and try to find their way to really make more more revenue. I'm sorry about that. And, you know, like when you're an online producer, like when you're entering into the business of making videos onto YouTube, sometimes you have to find a way to really try to make some money, because sometimes YouTube alone really doesn't give you enough, especially like if you're with an MCN or something like that, or if you're going to go and try to find other sources of revenue. Like if you're not just going to post on YouTube, you're also going to post on other places to try to make money. And sometimes you got to have stuff like having more ads onto your videos, or you got to have stuff like Patreon in order to actually have your YouTube channel or to have your video producing business to be a legitimate business. If you want to try to do this as a full-time job, then you would need those things. And honestly, it really does suck how the management of Channel Awesome think that they really do have control onto how the producers should make money. And it's either their way or they would get kicked out. And that is really a bad practice right over there. Now, let's move right along on to number 9. In 2013, there was a big push by many producers to fix the problems with communication and address the possible financial concerns surrounding the sudden loss of the Nostalgia Critic videos. A written document was presented to them, but as mentioned above, many points were either ignored, laughed off, or addressed minimally. So that's one of the biggest issues, and again, it will be brought up a little bit later, where one of the biggest problems that the people of Channel Awesome have is that they try so hard to address the issues onto the higher-ups regarding what they feel like is going wrong at Channel Awesome. Do they have any concerns or anything like that? They really don't have anyone to talk to. Like, it really goes one ear and out the other. So, like, really, they have no one else to talk to regarding if they have a problem or if they have any concerns, if they feel like their career would be in danger or something like that. And especially, it was a major scare for the producers at Channel Awesome when the Nostalgia Critic decided to go and cancel, when Doug Walker decided to cancel the Nostalgia Critic. And from there, like, they want to see if there's something that they can do about it, but the people at Channel Awesome just don't care. But it could be much worse. It could be like at number 8. Channel Awesome's management has a history of threatening to drop producers for saying things that they felt would make them look bad on social media and in videos, even when no rules were broken and they weren't mentioned. Now, this actually does connect a little bit to the last point that they brought up, because this is honestly worse than doing nothing. Because not only are they incapable of communicating with the higher-ups regarding any problems or concerns, but they're not allowed to speak publicly regarding the problems or concerns. So really, if you work at Channel Awesome, if you have any issues or if you have any problems with how things are running with the website, then honestly, their answer is just shut up or else we'll kick you out. So really, that's, like I said before, this is really worse than nothing. So this is like, if you like really you're not allowed to address any kind of issues. You're not allowed to even say that how things are going with Channel Awesome is bad or anything like that. You have to portray it as like either perfect or you're either out. It's a little bit Trumpian in a sense, the way that they would run Channel Awesome in that sense, where you're not allowed to give any form of criticism onto Channel Awesome, because it's either it goes on to deaf ear, or like if you address it publicly, then they will treat you pretty badly. Now, moving right along. Number 7. The filming of anniversary movies and crossovers, though enjoyed by many producers as a great opportunity and experience, was also fraught with multiple examples of inadequate planning and unprofessional behavior, going beyond a simple lack of experience. To boldly flee in particular was not a pleasant experience for a large number of cast and crew. Now, the anniversary movies that they are referring to in the documents are Kick-Assia, Suburban Nights, and also To Boldly Flee. And it has been pretty well known that behind the scenes, it was pure chaos. It was a little bit like what was presented in The Disaster Artist when they were making The Room. And the thing is that many of the examples that they have provided onto what happened during the production of those films, there's a lot of injuries that were going on. There was one example of a rape scene that some characters, well, like kind of like a rape gag, not a rape scene, but more of a rape gag that some contributors felt uncomfortable with. But but ultimately Doug Walker decided, okay, we're just gonna put it in anyways. And also, like, not only injuries and that, but also there have been reports that they didn't even provide food or water, like, on the first days of filming. So really, not only was the production chaotic, but they don't even have any substance to even survive this. So, yeah, making the anniversary videos, for many, it was once considered a dream, but for many also, they're pretty lucky that they didn't go through it. Oh, and we're going to go back onto this now. Number 6. When Channel Awesome ran a crowdfunding campaign, it was also mismanaged. They were threatened with investigation by Indiegogo. They then canceled a funded show after 12 episodes of a promised 40. And the canceled funded show that they were talking about, of course, is probably what is known as the worst thing to ever come out of Channel Awesome, Pop Quiz Hotshots. Now, at one point, Channel Awesome did run an Indiegogo campaign, which they ended up earning around $90,000. And they promised a lot of stuff for Channel Awesome, and it was stuff that would really contribute to making the studio that they bought really grand, to really make the most out of their studio, which includes making a game show like Pop Quiz Hot Shots, making a comic book show, making a video game show, and all that kind of stuff. But the result of that, very few of it happened, and they lazily put up an entire game show where it just looked so unprofessional. It looked so cheaply made. Like, it looked more like it was made for $90 instead of $90,000. And apparently, what the what the Google Doc is trying to say is that apparently they had to make those pop quiz hotshots in order to get away from being investigated by Indiegogo from any chances to see that maybe they frauded and scammed people out of $90,000 for no reason other than to keep the company and to keep the studio afloat. And that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much the big thing with that one right over there. So it really is a fascinating story. All right, now moving right along on to number 5. At least one staff member was asked to work every single day with no holidays or weekends. She was terminated with no given reason and forced to sign an exclusivity contract barring her from working in the industry for 3 years at the risk of losing her severance pay. And honestly, the staff member they were talking about, of course, it was Holly Brown, whom, like I said before, was an admin onto the website, or I think I mentioned that before. But yeah, reading her section onto the Google Doc, it really is a sad experience, and I really do hope that Holly Brown's life really did pick up from there, because, yeah, as you could tell, like, by reading her section, Channel Awesome really did treated her badly. Alright, so, moving on to number 4. Management of the site was of poor quality, particularly in regards of communication, organization, rule consistency, payment, and transparency. Multiple attempts to bring serious concerns to management regarding this were met with very few, usually minimal attempts to repair. And this is one of the most common complaints that the people who used to work at Channel Awesome have regarding the company, is regarding the management and how they're just lazy and almost do nothing regarding any of the concerns they have. Like I mentioned before, really, it just goes in one ear and out the other, and whatever problems they have, it would still remain in there, and they wouldn't really do much in order to fix the issue unless it truly is serious, or unless it really does affect them directly, like if it would affect Doug Walker, or if it would affect the website directly onto there. If it's about the other contributors, well, no one really cares. And like I said before, it really makes things even worse when you're not really allowed to say that publicly. So really, you're pretty much left without any options, where it's a hopeless result. If you have any problems with it, well, the problem is just gonna stay there. Alright, so, moving right along on to number 3. Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, is considered talent and not acting in any managerial role, yet has been involved in many company decisions and knew what management knew as far as is known. He also made sweeping decisions regarding the site that has the potential to drastically affect the income of many producers without consulting them beforehand. So the way that Doug Walker is represented throughout the entire Google Doc right over here is that the biggest thing about him, and probably his biggest flaw, is the fact that he is careless. He's not necessarily aware about his own actions and how they would drastically affect onto others. Like, maybe he was maybe he does have well intentions onto it. Like, when he was making the anniversary videos, he was hoping that he can make something great that could really honor everyone at Channel Awesome and stuff like that. But the execution of it is not so great. Sometimes he's focused on one thing that he would forget about many of the other aspects as well. And the decision about axing off the Nostalgia Critic right after To Boldly Flee, that was something that he didn't talk to anyone else. It was kind of like a sporadic decision right there that really did shock many of the other contributors. And when he did that, he didn't really think it through, like, entirely, where he didn't know how it would actually affect many of the other contributors as well, because even though, yes, Doug Walker is the main guy of Channel Awesome, but there are plenty of other contributors that are there as well that he completely forgot that if the Nostalgia Critic gets canceled, then it would also affect them as well. So that's the big thing that they're mentioning regarding Doug Walker's aspect, is that even though he keeps on saying that he's not a part of the business aspect, even though he totally is, he would make decisions that he didn't really think of it through regarding the magnitude of what it would cause. Alright, so moving right along onto number 2. The management of Channel Awesome was aware of sexual misconduct and abuse instigated by Mike Ellis, the CFO at the time, and enacted no disciplinary action until over a year later. They were also aware of sexual misconduct by another producer years later, again, not acting for over a year. At least 3 victims have come forward and requested the offender's name not to be printed. Oh, hello there, hashtag MeToo. Why, yes, you can help come in and contribute onto hashtag Change the Channel. Some of this actually does concern you. And so, with all that said, we are going on to number 1. The number 1 biggest issue with Channel Awesome right now is Mike Michaud. Current CEO of Channel Awesome has a history of being unprofessional, aggressive, immature, difficult, and misogynistic. And you know, it's actually very interesting about Mike Michaud, because I've known a lot of people who have been fans of Channel Awesome, but I do not know a single person who actually likes Mike Michaud, or would even look at Mike Michaud and think positively of him. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've heard anything good about Mike Michaud, because there have been years of an entire history of what he has done, and the way that he is running the website is just purely lazy. Like, the way that, like, not only this article, not only what the Google Doc is representing him, but from the stories that I've heard, Mike Michaud is pretty much this good-for-nothing, lazy slob that all he does is just play video games and pretty much becomes a pimp for internet reviewers. Like, he is exploiting all these online reviewers so that he can get a good chunk of the money that Channel Awesome is making. Like, that's all that he has been doing. But in terms of the decisions that he has been doing, this is the man who caused all the mismanagement. This is the man who actually really is running the business of Channel Awesome and running it very poorly. And if you have an issue and you want to have a discussion with Mike Michaud, it's either he's not going to care or he's going to bully and harass you for it. So that's really the biggest issue of it. If there is a central figure that people have a big problem with Channel Awesome, like if there's one person that these former contributors that they have an issue with, I mean, they will bring up Doug and Rob Walker, but it's mainly regarding Mike Michaud. And with all that said, that's pretty much the whole summary of what the Google Doc is pretty much talking about with all 69 pages. And it is honestly very interesting to see how Channel Awesome themselves is actually reacting to this throughout the weeks that this whole hashtag Change the Channel movement has been happening. Now, I know that some of you have been saying that, oh, well, AniMat, Channel Awesome has been doing nothing about it. Well, exactly. Now, it's actually quite interesting to see how Channel Awesome is handling the hashtag Change the Channel movement, because I have been making videos for more than 8 years now, and I have had my share of drama and controversy. Not necessarily like big ones like what Channel Awesome went through, especially with this, but I've had my fair share of drama. And I would be an absolute liar if I said that I managed to get out of that drama alone. I am very fortunate and very thankful that I've had great friends that helped me out not only to get out of the drama, but to also put me back on my feet in order to go and to actually, be back as AniMat to create more great videos for you guys. So with all that said, I pretty much have gotten the knowledge to see what Channel Awesome is trying to do, and where is it that is going terribly wrong. Like, what are, like, not only just the steps that they're doing, but also the missteps on how to handle this. And I will say that not saying anything about it, being silent about it, that is the common first reaction. Is that you don't want to give it the attention that it deserves. You don't want to go and really address the situation head on immediately. Because a nightmare scenario is that you would have your fans be involved with it and they would ask the question, what is happening? Because it's only something that just started out on social media and you just want to keep it low on social media. And from there, the best case scenario that you are hoping for is that, okay, maybe they'll talk about this for a few weeks and then it'll just blow off in the wind and everybody can get back to what they're to what they're doing as normal, just let it be back to normal as usual, per se. And that was the plan at first. However, that's only a temporary solution. That can only work out for like a span of a week, maybe 10 days tops. But past that, if things are still going, if the controversy is still going on and people are still discussing about it, then maybe it would probably be time to actually go and address the issue. And that's not what Channel Awesome did. Instead, what they have done for weeks is not only be silent about it, but block others that would bring up this issue. And again, when you're in drama, that's another scenario that is actually quite common, is that, of course, you're going to get a lot of people that will be very disrespectful and they will attack you with the controversy regarding it. So banning people is kind of a common step as well. It is kind of a common human reaction in order to do so. But the fact that they have been doing it for weeks, that is not normal. Maybe for the first few days, but not if it's been going on for weeks. Now, of course, they have been pretty silent about it, but it wasn't until on the day of that the former contributors would release the Google Doc that Channel Awesome would finally say something. They have finally had a moment that they went on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, where they decided to shed light on their perspective onto this whole situation, onto the whole hashtag change the channel movement. And my God, it could not have been any worse than what they have executed. Because, seriously, the thing that they have addressed is probably about like 3 to 4 paragraphs long. It's just like a short little thing that you could read in less than a minute. And it's just, the way that they would word things out is so bad. They did not even apologize for anything that they have done in the past. At the most that they have said, no joke, is that they regret that the former contributors feel that way. They don't regret their own actions. They've never even stated that what they have done was wrong in any sort of way. They just look at that and say, oh, well, we're sorry that you feel that way. Yeah, they're sorry about, oh, we're sorry that you have this opinion about it, and would later go and say that they're the victims of the scenario. Never once do they take any humility, never once do they look back and see that they would do anything wrong, but then they would just say that, oh, well, okay, sorry you feel that way, and that's it. And I kid you not, I don't think there is a single person on the internet that looked at that excuse and bought it, because it received such massive backlash And it really did play a part on how Channel Awesome is really in trouble on this situation. Like, it's as if Channel Awesome saw a major fire and they decided to just throw gasoline, hoping that, alright, it'll just go down. But at that point, it's just really, it made things so much worse for Channel Awesome. It's almost as if they release an article, or they just release one page saying, yeah, we know this is going on, and we don't care, and we don't think we did anything wrong. They might as well have just said that. Now, rumors have been spreading around that this is from Mike Michaud and his brother Greg. Like, they're the ones who are handling, like, they're the ones who actually wrote that message and released it. But that's also another issue with that article right there, is that there is no name attached to it. So really, it's everyone at Channel Awesome that is getting the blame on this. Mike Michaud, Greg Michaud, Doug Walker, and Rob Walker. Like, they're the ones who are going to take responsibility of that bullcrap message. And really, and it's honestly why they really have been going in a downward spiral. Now, in terms of the consequences that they have actually received regarding the controversy that is going on right now, at first, when the Change the Channel movement all began, it started out a little bit small. At the most that happened is that there was a mass exodus going on in the website, where many contributors, around a dozen I would say, have decided to quit the website considering the toxic environment that has currently shed light onto Channel Awesome. And up to this point right now, there have been a lot of them that left, and there are some that range from being the more recent contributors, while others have been considered some of the biggest contributors in there, like right up there with the Nostalgia Critic, and they have been there since the very beginning of the website, since it opened back in 2008. And I'm talking about people like Suede, Rap Critic, Film Brain, Ton the Shadows, and Linkara, in which some people would say that's probably the biggest loss that they have received coming from this mass exodus right here. But you know, the interesting thing is that I am pretty sure that Channel Awesome doesn't care. Now, like I said before, one of the points, I think the first one, yeah, like point number 11, is that time has moved on, and they're caring a lot less about the website and the contributors working in there, and Channel Awesome's fortress now resides onto the YouTube channel, which not too long ago hit 1 million subscribers. So they care a lot more about that, and their main revenue actually comes from that YouTube channel, while the website, honestly, at this point, like, they could just kick off everybody out of the website, they could shut it down, and they couldn't care less. So yeah, this controversy gave the biggest hit onto the website, but Channel Awesome doesn't necessarily care about the website. If you really want to get their attention, then you have to get after their YouTube channel. And so the big question is, has this movement hit the YouTube channel? And oh God, you have no idea. They have been hit so badly, it is ridiculous. Now, beforehand, when it started, it was pretty much business as usual. Maybe there were a few days where they lost a bit of subscribers and stuff like that, but for the most part, like, they have been gaining subscribers. People have been watching the Nostalgia Critic videos as usual. Like, things have been going well. The YouTube channel wasn't hit. It wasn't until on April 2nd when they released the Google Doc, and when Channel Awesome brought out the bullcrap non-apology message, that's when the YouTube channel got hit hard. And as I am recording this, they have lost about 14,000 subscribers in less than a week. And day after day, the number of subscribers that they had would go down. Like, on Monday, it would start things off by losing more than 600. Then on Tuesday, they would lose about 2,000. And then on Wednesday, they would lose 4,000. And then on Thursday, they would lose 5,000. And it just goes down from there. And keep in mind, it's not necessarily losing more than 14,000 subscribers. This is actually their number going down by 14,000. So at the time, they could be gaining some subscribers. There are some new people that would subscribe to the Nostalgia Critic, but that would also mean there were more subscribers that would leave. So really, it's not just a mass exodus onto the contributors, the people who would work at Channel Awesome, but also it's a mass exodus onto the fan base where people would leave the Channel Awesome website and the Channel Awesome YouTube channel just left to right. So this really has been affecting the website really badly. Not just the website. This really did hit the YouTube channel badly. But honestly, I'm not sure if we even made it to the biggest punishment yet. Like, if there is going to be a massive punishment towards Channel Awesome, then personally, that's going to be if ever YouTube themselves decide to step in. Like, if this controversy really does go to the mainstream, then they will take the precaution to go and punish Channel Awesome royally, because they did put in some new rules and some new punishments ever since the Logan Paul controversy, where if ever YouTube would catch Channel Awesome on this and they decided to go and not shut them down, like they don't really delete YouTube channels. If they would, then they would immediately delete PewDiePie and Logan Paul. But if they would go and punish Channel Awesome, then they would temporarily take away their ad revenue, and also, for a good while, they will get rid of any permission for Channel Awesome to be featured on the trending page. Like, they would be banned from that for a while, which that's where a lot of the Nostalgia Critic videos would get their views. You would frequently see the Nostalgia Critic being on the trending page on YouTube whenever he would release a review. So that would be a giant hit. Rather, if YouTube is actually going to do that, we'll have to wait and see, but already as it is, Channel Awesome is getting punished royally for this. And if I may go and give my personal opinion onto all of this, just to give you guys a little bit of context about myself and how I feel with Channel Awesome. Of course, I may have never been a contributor to Channel Awesome before, but I am definitely one of those people who was a long-time follower of Channel Awesome. Like, I was a big fan of that guy with the glasses during its prime. In fact, I would even say that Doug Walker, along with James Rolfe, have been my biggest inspirations to go and create videos on YouTube and all around the internet. So they were my biggest inspirations to become the internet personality that I am today. And from there, honestly, looking at the Google Doc, reading all the events that occurred, in my opinion, a lot of the things that they have mentioned, I don't really see much of it that's really new. I have been aware about many of the stories of how Allison got kicked out and the treatment that she has gotten, about the treatment of Holly, and about the disastrous production of the disastrous production that occurred during the anniversary videos, about the cruelty of Mike Michaud, about the poor management that's going on in Channel Awesome. This has been very well known within the reviewing community. People are aware of it. What the Google Doc added that's new is pretty much the fact that they would add details into it, specifically what is going on in there. And while this has been in light before, never had this been so prominent onto mainstream media as much as this. Like, really, like this just came back at a full force and really returned to haunt Channel Awesome. And for me, just looking at all this, it really is kind of disheartening, because I remember when I started making videos, it was a legitimate dream of mine. It was one of my biggest goals to have my videos be featured onto Channel Awesome and onto that guy with the glasses, to be like the cartoon and Western animation representative of Channel Awesome, to be in the ranks of Linkara, Angry Joe, Spoonie, the Nostalgia Critic, to be among those guys, and to appear in the anniversary videos. That was a dream for me and many other reviewers back in the beginning of the 2010s. But now reading this and seeing what has happened, honestly, I do feel very appreciative, not just what I have now, like, not only of the opportunities that I've received, but also of the opportunities that I've not received. Like, yeah, I have tried to get into Channel Awesome, but I have been rejected, of course. But the thing is that I actually am lucky that I actually did not get into the moment where I would be in, Channel Awesome, and I don't have to deal with all that crap. I don't have to deal with Mike Michaud. I don't have to deal with the crazy productions, and I don't have to deal with anything like that. So nowadays, it's no longer my dream to go into Channel Awesome. Even if right now they would give me the opportunity to join the website, I would most likely just reject it. I mean, nowadays, I guess the dream kind of got shifted a little bit, where now I would be more than honored to go and appear in a Nostalgia Critic video. Because the one thing I will say, though, that if there is actually any signs of improvement since those events that has been chronicled in that Google Doc, there was a moment this week that Malcolm Ray, one of the actors of Channel Awesome, decided to step up, and he decided to give a little bit of his opinion. He mentioned how if there is one thing that really did improve is actually how Doug and Rob Walker are handling the production of their videos, how they're handling the production of the Nostalgia Critic videos, considering that how they've grown to be much bigger with so many different sketches and using so many different actors. They're a lot more organized, they're a lot more professional about it, and apparently being involved with it is a lot of fun. Like, you would have the time of your life. So it would definitely be a dream of mine if I would go and do some kind of co-review with the Nostalgia Critic. Like, he would appear as a special guest in one of my videos, or if I would appear in be a special guest in a Nostalgia Critic episode. That would actually really be awesome. Maybe not right now. Like, first we have to have Doug Walker, like, make sure he shapes back up his reputation, put him back up on his feet so that the Nostalgia Critic can be a bit of a positive figure again. But, like, not right now, but maybe eventually in the future I will. But that's the whole thing with what's going on. And it is honestly disheartening to see that something of which that I've really looked up to and played a big part of my life in the past is really just this shady company that treated their employees just really badly. It is unfortunate to go and read about it. And at this point right now, with the way that it is seriously affecting both the website and the channel, they have really passed the point where an apology would be acceptable. Like, it's not going to be handled like that anymore. Like, they're not going to solve this just by saying they're sorry or anything like that. But I will say, though, that if they do make an apology, then they have to do it the right way. Now, I've heard rumors that apparently Channel Awesome is considering to make an apology video and stuff like that. But one thing I will say right now, this apology video, if they are going to make that, it cannot be from Doug. While they do have some issues with Doug Walker, he's not the main person that the former contributors have a beef with. It is with Mike Michaud. He needs to take his lazy ass out of the couch, record himself, and he's the one who has to directly make the public apology about it. It has to be from him. It's not necessarily from Doug, it's from him. If Doug does it, maybe he'll get away with it, but Mike Michaud will still be viewed as a horrible person. And honestly, like I said before, apologies ain't really gonna cut it in this case. And if they really do want to try to solve this problem, then they have to take action. They have to do something about it to show that they really do mean that they are sorry and they're gonna try to improve it. And honestly, the easiest way that I can think of right now is fire Mike Michaud. Just get rid of him, get rid of Mike, get rid of Greg. They're nothing but dead weight. They're a burden to Channel Awesome. They need to get rid of them ASAP. And I understand that Doug and Rob Walker decided to bring them in because they don't want to really handle the business aspect of running the company, but honestly, I believe that they should. Like, I don't see why not that Doug and Rob should get rid of Mike and Greg. Like, Doug, Rob, if by the insane chance that you actually are listening to this, you have to really consider that maybe you guys should be the CEO of Channel Awesome. I mean, Doug is already literally the face of Channel Awesome. Why don't you guys actually run the company? I know that you're going to have a little bit more of some responsibilities to do with it, but at least you'll get the money that Mike Michaud is making, and it will go directly to you guys. So there's a lot more benefit to getting rid of Mike. And I mean, if you don't want to do it, I mean, you can get your dad to do it. He's already working hard on your videos, so maybe he can run Channel Awesome as the new CEO. So that's honestly the big thing right over here, is that they have to, like, in my opinion, they have to find a way to just get rid of Mike Michaud if they really want to have a change of pace in terms of the issues that they have regarding the management. Sure, there has been word that's been spreading around that the production and, like, regarding Doug and Rob's aspect, like, they have improved themselves over the years since the disastrous events of the anniversary videos. But honestly, they, like for now, I feel like they have to make, like, honestly, an apology isn't going to cut it. They have to make an, they have to make, sorry about that. I don't know why I couldn't speak there. They have to make an action. They have, like, honestly, actions speak louder than words. So if you want to say you're sorry, you have to show it. And honestly, there is one thing that I want to address regarding the Change the Channel movement, is actually regarding its purpose. Because a lot of people aren't necessarily doing it right when they're jumping on board with the hashtag Change the Channel movement. Because I'm going to say this right now, that the main thing is to highlight the mismanagement that has been done at Channel Awesome, and the poor treatment that the former contributors have received. It's to shed light on that, and it's to show an example of what not to do when running your company. So when a lot of people would jump onto the hashtag Change the Channel movement, of course, with these types of dramas, sometimes it can go all over the place and the main focus is a little bit nowhere. Like, they forgot about the point of the hashtag Change the Channel movement. Some people would just join in because they think it's a good excuse to go and bash the nostalgia critic as much as they want. Some people just use it as a way to complain about how the recent episodes of Nostalgia Critic just suck and stuff like that. And honestly, they do it for all these things without the main purpose being that it's to help out the former contributors and to shed light onto the mismanagement. So that's kind of the big thing right over here. I mean, like, I know for a fact that there are a lot of people that really don't care about the drama that's going on and they want to try to avoid it. In fact, the only people that would defend Channel Awesome during this whole thing are literally just the ignorant and the selfish, where people would make comments defending Channel Awesome only by saying that they don't care about the drama, they don't care about the people involved, all they want is just Doug Walker to make videos for them without caring about any other feelings or anything like that. That's the only defense that people could give to Channel Awesome in their current situation. But it's not about that. It's not even really about Doug Walker or the Nostalgia Critic in general. The main thing is about Mike Michaud, how Channel Awesome is running as a company, and also the treatment that they have deserved. It's to shed light upon those, and hopefully that many other companies can look at that as an example of what not to do, and for Channel Awesome to hopefully look at their past and to see maybe if they can improve themselves from there, to really, like, notice that they have done wrong in the past and try to improve themselves from there. That's the main thing about the Change the Channel movement. If you're going to join in, do it because you want to help the former contributors, not because you want to hate on the nostalgia critic and try to attack him right there. So yeah, that's pretty much all of my thoughts on the current situation of the hashtag Change the Channel movement. And if I have any final words to say in this situation, I just want to give a big congratulations to all the former contributors, including Allison, Kaylin, Holly, William, Lewis, Jacob, Leon, Seth, Beth, Sifera, and Benjamin, and John, and all those people, and Gonzo, and every contributor, like all the former contributors who decide, and also Tom and Lindsay, and all, like every former contributor who decided that they want to step up and they want to go and address the issue. You guys have been so brave about it, and honestly, I couldn't be more proud of you. And and for those of you watching this, I highly encourage that you go and check out their YouTube channels. They're highly entertaining. There's even a little section, you'll probably check, you can easily find it on social media and stuff like that, where there's an entire, like another Google Doc where they would list all the current and former contributors, and you can find ways on how you can support them and how you can watch them, either like on Patreon, on YouTube, on Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. So I highly encourage that you go and check it out right there. And one thing that I will say on Channel Awesome, I mean, I love you guys. You have been a great inspiration for me, but with this entire controversy, it makes it so hard for me to even watch your current stuff. Like, I have yet to even seen like any of the current Nostalgia Critic episodes because of this. And honestly, yes, I am one of those people that did unsubscribe because of this entire drama right over here. So honestly, I really do hope that Doug and Brad can go and actually do something about all this. If they can go and actually address the situation, maybe if they can go and take action, that if Mike Michaud is not going to do anything, then he's got to go. And yeah, hopefully we will see some improvements towards Channel Awesome, but yeah, for now, I guess all we can do is just watch the Titanic sink as low as it can.